The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have announced that veteran running back Giovani Bernard has been designated to return from the injured reserve. He can practice as soon as today, and he can be activated anytime in the next 21 days to the team's active roster. Now, this continues a streak of pretty good injury news that the Buccaneers have gotten in recent weeks. We've seen guys like Carlton Davis, Akeem Hicks, Julio Jones, and a few others be able to return from their injuries and resume their large and, starting caliber roles that they have had for this team, which is good. It's been a big boost to the overall defense and offense and is a very, very good thing to see. I am going to be very interested to see what Giovani Bernard's role is going to be, though, if he is eventually activated in the next 21 days to the team's active roster, because before his injury, Bernard was not playing a lot. He was able to play in week 1 and in week 2, but in both of those games combined, he only totaled 11 total snaps, and it was all on special teams. So Bernard wasn't necessarily being used as a backup change of pace type of running back, and he wasn't necessarily being used a ton as a returner. I guess there is still, some level of special teams value there. He did play in 25% of the special team snaps in week 1 and 19% of the special team snaps in week 2. So maybe he will have some type of role on special teams moving forward, but it is definitely going to be interesting, especially considering right now as it stands, the Buccaneers do have a pretty, ironclad set of running backs being used right now, with Leonard Fournette as the main starting back, Rachaad White as that change of pace back who still gets a pretty decent amount of looks in a game, and then you have Keyshawn Vaughn there just in case. So if Bernard is activated back to the main roster, does this mean that a guy like Keyshawn Vaughn is going to go back to being inactive on game day? I think that is something that is definitely worth paying attention to. And also, whose roster spot would Giovani Bernard be taking? That is going to be another interesting question. Would it be maybe a guy like Keyshawn Vaughn? Would they just cut ties with Vaughn and move on from him in favor of the veteran running back? Would it be maybe a backup wide receiver or a backup offensive lineman or a backup defensive lineman? There's a lot of different options here. Of course, if Bernard is eventually activated back to the team's active roster, I will be talking about that move and whoever they decide to waive in case of that move being made. So yeah, going to be a little bit interesting to see what happens here with Bernard. I would say at the very least, he is good veteran backup running back depth just in case. It's always good to have a veteran there. He can also be a mentor to guys like, say, Leonard Fournette, and as well as Rachaad White and Keyshawn Vaughn in there as well. And then he can possibly be a backup returner. Maybe they do use him at punt and kickoff returning in some situations. Who knows? In my opinion, I think that Rachaad White has done a pretty good job as a kickoff returner, and I think Jalen Darden has shown leaps and bounds of improvement as a punt returner this year compared to what he was last year. I know maybe not everybody agrees with that opinion, but I certainly feel like Darden has shown a very good amount of improvement this year as a punt returner compared to where he was last year. But maybe Bernard will still be a backup and a special teams player. That seems like that was his role before he was injured, so maybe that will continue to be his role moving forward, and a little bit of extra depth at that running back position. What do you guys think about Giovani Bernard being designated to return from the injured reserve? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. I would love to hear them. We should be seeing some more names, like this coming up soon. I know Logan Ryan's probably another name that will very well get announced soon at some point, just because he's been on the shelf for a few weeks now. So definitely pay attention to that one as well here in the coming weeks. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.